Alex had never imagined that his life would take a turn so drastic, so unbelievable, that it would forever change the course of his destiny. He was just a regular young man living a quiet life in a small town on Earth, trying to make sense of the world around him. Little did he know that one fateful day, his life would be intertwined with the extraordinary, the unimaginable, and the supernatural. It all began when Alex stumbled upon a mysterious artifact in a dusty old shop. It was a small, intricately carved stone with strange symbols glowing faintly. The shopkeeper had warned him that the object was no ordinary relic, but Alex, ever the curious soul, dismissed the warning as nothing more than a sales pitch. He didn't know it then, but that very artifact would serve as a doorway to another world. A week after purchasing the stone, strange things began happening. Alex found himself dreaming of a woman, someone he had never met, but felt an inexplicable connection to. In his dreams, she had silver blue skin, long flowing hair that shimmered with an otherworldly glow, and eyes that seemed to pierce into the very core of his being. Every time he awoke from these dreams, he felt a strange pull in his heart, as though he knew her from somewhere deep within. His dreams became more vivid with each passing night, and one evening, as Alex sat in his living room, the stone he had bought began to glow brighter than ever before. Suddenly, a soft voice echoed in his mind, calling to him, beckoning him to a place far beyond his understanding. It was her, Lyra, the woman from his dreams. With little hesitation, Alex followed, the call which led him to a remote field outside of town. Standing in the middle of the field, bathed in the light of the full moon, Alex saw it, a glowing portal in the air, shimmering like a waterfall of light. Without thinking, he stepped through it. On the other side, Alex found himself in an entirely different world, one that seemed both familiar and foreign at the same time. The sky was a deep shade of purple, dotted with multiple moons. Strange creatures roamed the land, and buildings that seemed to float in midair dotted the horizon. It was like nothing he had ever seen before, and yet there was a strange sense of belonging here. As he stood in awe, taking in the alien landscape, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was Lyra, the woman from his dreams, only now she was no longer just a vision in his mind. She stood before him, real and tangible, dressed in flowing robes of iridescent silver, her long hair cascading around her shoulders. Her presence was commanding yet gentle, and the air around her seemed to hum with energy. "Alex," she spoke, her voice smooth and melodic, "I have been waiting for you." Alex's heart skipped a beat. How could she know his name? The question lingered in his mind as he stood frozen, unsure of what to say or do. "I know this is unexpected," Lyra continued, "but I am the queen of my people, and our worlds are about to collide. You have been chosen, Alex, chosen to be my partner, my husband." The words hit him like a thunderbolt. The thought of marrying someone from another world, someone so incredibly beautiful and powerful, was almost too much to comprehend, but the intensity of her gaze, the weight of her words, and the undeniable pull he felt toward her left him with little choice. I don't understand," Alex stammered. "Why me? I'm just an ordinary guy. I don't belong here." Lyra smiled softly, her eyes sparkling with an ancient wisdom. "You may feel ordinary, Alex, but you are not. You have a heart that is capable of love beyond boundaries. You see, the union of our worlds requires more than just two people. It requires a bond, a connection that transcends time and space. And you, Alex, have been chosen to be that bridge." She stepped closer to him, her fingers lightly brushing his cheek, sending a jolt of energy through him. The touch was both comforting and electric, filling him with a sense of peace yet excitement. "Our people have long awaited the coming of the one who would unite us with your world. And now, that time has come." Alex was overwhelmed by the gravity of her words. He had never asked for this, never sought out any extraordinary purpose in life. Yet here he was, standing in the presence of a powerful alien queen, about to embark on a journey that would change everything he thought he knew about love, life, and the universe itself. Despite his confusion, a part of him felt a strange sense of peace, as though he was exactly where he was meant to be. There was no denying the connection he felt to Lyra, no matter how improbable or unimaginable it seemed. Lyra held out her hand to him, her eyes full of hope and promise. "Come with me, Alex. Join me in a bond that will shape the future of both our worlds." For a moment, Alex hesitated. The world he knew, the life he had built, seemed so far away in that instant. But the pull between them was undeniable, and in that moment, Alex realized that he had a choice to make. He could return to his normal life, or he could embrace this new destiny, this new adventure, alongside the woman who had already begun to steal his heart. With a deep breath, Alex took her hand. "I'm ready," he said, his voice steady. Lyra's smile widened, and she gently led him toward the palace where their journey together would begin. The portal to his new life had closed behind him, and there was no going back. He was now married to an alien queen, and their adventure was just beginning. Alex had never imagined a life like this. The moment he stepped through the glowing portal and onto Lyra's world, everything he thought he knew about reality had been turned upside down. He had heard of other planets, alien species, and distant galaxies, but nothing had prepared him for the overwhelming beauty and mystery of Lyra's home. He was no longer in his small, quiet town on Earth. This was something far grander, something beyond his wildest dreams. As Lyra guided him through the glowing streets of her capital city, Alex could only stare in awe. The buildings that rose around them seemed to defy the laws of physics, floating gracefully in the air with no visible support. They were made of shimmering silver and glass, reflecting the twin moons above in a dazzling array of colors. The ground beneath his feet pulsed with a soft light, and the air itself seemed alive, humming with energy and possibilities. The colors of the sky shifted constantly, swirling between shades of violet, teal, and gold. It was like stepping into a dream, yet everything felt so real, so tangible. "Welcome to Xantara," Lyra said, her voice carrying a regal calm. "This is the heart of my kingdom, the center of our civilization. It is a world unlike any other in the galaxy, a place where technology and nature exist in perfect harmony." The Bohem people of Xantara were unlike anything Alex had seen before. They walked with a quiet elegance, their skin glowing with faintly iridescent hues. Their features were both human and alien, with subtle differences that set them apart. Slightly elongated limbs, eyes that shimmered with a cosmic light, and hair that seemed to float like liquid silk. They paid little attention to Alex as he passed, yet there was a sense of reverence in their gazes as they watched their queen walk beside him. Lyra noticed his amazement and smiled softly. "Our people are at peace with the universe. We have lived in balance for millennia, cultivating wisdom and understanding of the world around us. We are a people who have unlocked the secrets of the stars, and yet we remain humble. We do not seek domination or war. We seek harmony." As they walked deeper into the city, Alex began to realize that Xantara wasn't just technologically advanced, it was spiritually attuned as well. The air felt charged with an ancient energy, and everywhere Alex looked, he could feel a deep connection to the world around him. The city itself seemed to breathe with life, and the people moved in unison with its rhythms, as though they were part of something much larger than themselves. Finally, they arrived at the palace, an awe-inspiring structure made entirely of translucent crystal. It rose high into the sky, a beacon of light that seemed to pulse with energy. The entrance was flanked by statues of ancient beings, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly fire. As they entered, Alex was struck by the beauty of the place. The walls were adorned with murals depicting the history of Lyra's people, their rise to power, their conquest of the stars, and their eventual search for peace and unity with the universe. Inside, the palace was filled with a soft, ethereal light, emanating from the very walls. The floors were made of polished stone, and the air smelled faintly of flowers that didn't exist on Earth. It was both alien and familiar at the same time, a place that felt like it was alive with history and purpose. Lyra led him to a grand chamber at the heart of the palace, It was here that she revealed the true nature of her world and her people. "Alex," she began, her voice growing serious, "there is much you do not yet understand. My people, the Zantari, are not like the beings of your world. We are ancient, and our connection to the universe goes far beyond what you can imagine. We have the power to manipulate energy, to travel between worlds, and to see the future." Alex listened intently, trying to process everything Lyra was saying. "But if you have all this power, why would you need me? Why choose me to be your partner?" Lyra's eyes softened. "Because our power, as great as it is incomplete. We are a people bound by the stars, yet we are also bound by our own limitations. We have learned that true strength comes not from our abilities, but from our unity. It is the bond between us, the connection we share, that will ensure the survival of both our worlds. That is why I chose you, Alex." Her words sent a ripple through Alex's mind. He had been brought here not just for his strength or his courage, but for something deeper, something he couldn't yet understand. He had come to Zantara as a stranger, but now he was starting to feel a connection, a pull towards something far greater than himself. Lyra continued, "The union between our two worlds is not just a political or personal alliance. It is a cosmic one. The joining of our hearts, our minds, and our people will create a balance that will ripple through the fabric of the universe itself. Your world, Earth, and my world, Zantara, are destined to be intertwined in ways that no one can fully comprehend. This is our destiny, Alex." A sense of awe washed over Alex as he realized the magnitude of what she was saying. This was more than just a marriage. It was a merging of worlds, of destinies. The weight of it all began to settle in, and for the first time since arriving on Zantara, he felt the full impact of his decision. He had chosen to be here, but now it seemed like the universe had chosen him as well. "What will happen to Earth?" Alex asked, his voice tinged with concern. Lyra's gaze softened, and she reached out to touch his hand. "Your world will be safe, Alex. We will share our knowledge, our wisdom, and our power with your people. Together, we can protect both our worlds from the forces that threaten to destroy them." It was then that Alex understood. The union between him and Lyra wasn't just a personal bond, it was a union between two worlds, two civilizations. It was a promise of hope, of strength, and of a future that would be shared. As the realization sank in, Alex knew that his life would never be the same. He had entered this world as a stranger, but now he was part of something far greater than himself. And together with Lyra, he would help shape the future of both their worlds. The night had fallen over Zantara, and the twin moons cast an ethereal glow over the alien city, bathing the palace in silvery light. Alex stood at the entrance of the grand chamber, his heart racing in his chest. He had never been more unsure of anything in his life. What had started as an adventure, a simple connection with an alien queen, was now something far more complicated and terrifying. Tonight was the night of the wedding ritual, the ceremony that Lyra had warned him about, a ceremony that had been a secret until now, and one that would test him in ways he couldn't have imagined. Lyra, standing beside him, looked every bit the regal queen she was. Her long, silver-blue hair cascaded down her back, and her glowing skin seemed to shimmer under the moonlight. She turned to him, her face calm, yet her eyes betraying the faintest flicker of anticipation. "Are you ready, Alex?" she asked softly. Alex swallowed hard, trying to steady his breath. "I don't know what to expect." Lyra smiled gently, her hand reaching for his. "You don't need to know everything. You just need to trust me." The words settled into Alex's heart, but they did little to calm the storm of uncertainty swirling inside him. He had chosen to be here to marry this incredible woman, but what was about to happen was beyond his understanding. Together, they entered the sacred chamber. It was unlike anything Alex had ever seen. The room was vast, its walls adorned with strange, glowing symbols that seemed to pulse with life. In the center of the chamber stood an altar, crafted from what looked like translucent stone, its surface glimmering with an otherworldly energy. The air was thick with the scent of unfamiliar flowers, and the atmosphere felt charged as if the very room itself was alive. Lyra led Alex to the altar, and he could feel his pulse quicken. This was it. The moment that would either make him stronger or break him entirely. Around the room, Alex noticed other figures watching from the shadows, members of Lyra's royal court, the high priests and priestesses of Xantara. Their eyes were fixed on him, their faces unreadable. Lyra turned to face him, her voice soft but firm. "The ritual must be completed, Alex. It is a sacred tradition for all who marry within my world. It is a test, one that you must pass if you are to truly become one of us." Alex nodded, though doubt still lingered in his mind. The Queen's people had a long history, and this ritual was steeped in centuries of tradition. He had heard rumors, whispers among the palace staff about the nature of the ceremony. It was said to be a trial, a test of courage, strength, and endurance, one that no one had ever fully understood. But Alex was not going to back out now. He had made his choice. The high priest stepped forward, his voice echoing through the chamber. "The ritual of union shall now begin," he intoned. "This will bind the two worlds, the one of Earth and the one of Xantara. Only through the trial will the strength of this union be proven." Alex felt his heart hammering in his chest. He glanced at Lyra, who stood before him, her eyes filled with an unreadable emotion. She had warned him of the dangers of the ritual, yet there was no fear in her expression, only calm certainty. The high priest raised his hands toward the ceiling, and suddenly the room was bathed in a dazzling light. The symbols on the walls seemed to come alive, swirling and shifting, forming intricate patterns that Alex couldn't decipher. The floor beneath his feet began to hum, and the air thickened with an unfamiliar energy. "Step forward, Alex of Earth," the priest called, his voice resonating in the charged atmosphere. Alex took a deep breath and stepped toward the altar. His hands shook, but he didn't stop. The moment his feet crossed the threshold of the altar, the world around him seemed to shift. The walls of the chamber dissolved, and he found himself standing in a vast, dark void. The only light came from the faint glow of Lyra, who stood across from him, her presence the only anchor in this strange, endless space. "This is the first trial," Lyra's voice echoed, though her form seemed distant. "The trial of the mind." Suddenly, images began to flash before Alex's eyes. Memories of his childhood, his struggles, his deepest fears. He saw himself alone, rejected by friends, dismissed by family. He saw his failures, his doubts, and his insecurities. The feelings of worthlessness he had buried deep inside rose to the surface, threatening to overwhelm him. "These are your fears," Lyra's voice continued. "Conquer them and you will prove your worth." Alex struggled to breathe, his chest tightening. It felt as though the weight of all his doubts had come crashing down on him. But he refused to fall. With all his strength, he focused on the one thing that kept him grounded: Lyra. Her presence was the anchor that kept him from sinking into the void. Slowly, he began to push back against the images, rejecting the doubts that clouded his mind. With each moment he felt stronger, more confident. The darkness began to recede, and the light from Lyra's form grew brighter. Finally, the void began to dissolve, and Alex found himself back in the chamber. The trial of the mind had been passed. The high priest stepped forward again, his face solemn. "The first trial is complete. Now, the trial of the heart." The room shifted once more, and Alex found himself standing alone. Before him stood an alien creature, huge, terrifying, and unlike anything he had ever seen. It was a beast with multiple eyes, its body covered in scales that seemed to shimmer with an unnatural glow. Its growls echoed through the room, sending a chill down Alex's spine. This was the second trial, the trial of strength and courage. The creature lunged at him, its claws sharp and lethal. Alex barely managed to dodge its attack, but he knew he couldn't keep running. He had to face it, confront his fears head-on. With a deep breath, Alex charged at the creature using every ounce of strength he had. His body ached, but he fought with everything he had, refusing to give up. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he struck the creature down, feeling the energy drain from his body as it collapsed before him. The chamber fell silent. "Well done," Lyra's voice came from behind him, and Alex turned to see her standing there, her eyes filled with admiration. "You have passed the trials, Alex." The ritual was complete. The trials had tested his mind and his heart, his courage and his strength. He had faced his deepest fears and defeated them. In that moment, Alex understood the true meaning of the ritual. It was not just about survival. It was about transformation. It had changed him, made him stronger and more certain of his place in this alien world. As Lyra approached, she placed her hand on his shoulder, her touch sending a wave of warmth through him. "You are ready," she said, her voice filled with pride. "Now we can truly begin our life together." And for the first time since he had arrived on Xantara, Alex felt truly at home. The wedding night ritual had tested every fiber of Alex's being. He had stood at the precipice of fear, faced the darkness of his past, and battled the most terrifying creature his mind could conjure. Yet, standing here now, with Lyra by his side, he felt something more profound than exhaustion. It was as if the very essence of his being had shifted, evolved into something stronger, more connected to the world around him. As the last echoes of the ritual faded into the silence of the chamber, Alex's breath steadied. His body ached from the trials, every muscle protesting, but there was something else, something deeper that he couldn't yet fully understand. The trials had not only challenged his physical limits, but had unlocked a new sense of clarity within him. A bond had been forged between him and Lyra, yes, but it was more than just a romantic connection. It was a union of souls, a transformation that reached beyond his human understanding. Lyra stood before him, her eyes soft with pride and something else, something that resembled awe. She had watched him struggle, watched him face his fears and doubts, and now she was witnessing the change she had known would happen. The ritual had not only tested him, it had transformed him. "You have passed, Alex," Lyra said, her voice steady and full of reverence. "But this is only the beginning of your journey." Alex's eyes met hers, and for the first time since arriving on Xantara, he understood what she meant. The ritual had been more than a test of his worth. It had been a catalyst, a way to bring out something hidden deep within him, something that was now beginning to surface. Lyra reached out and touched his hand. Her touch sent a shock of warmth through his body, and for a brief moment, Alex felt the world around him fade away. It was as if the entire universe was drawing closer, and in that moment he felt a connection to everything. The planet, the stars, the very fabric of the universe itself. He could feel the energy that flowed through Xantara, and it was as if that energy was now flowing through him. "You're changing," Lyra whispered, her gaze fixed on him. "The ritual has awakened something inside you, something that links you to Xantara, to me, and to the stars themselves." Alex looked down at his hands, and for a brief moment he saw something flicker within them, tiny sparks of energy like the stars had found their way into his veins. It was subtle, but it was there. He wasn't imagining it. It was real. "Am I changing?" Alex asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "What does this mean for me?" Lyra smiled softly, a glint of excitement in her eyes. "It means you are no longer just a human, Alex. You are becoming one with this world, one with me. The energy that courses through this planet, through my people, is now inside you. It's not just a physical change, it's spiritual, cosmic." Alex took a deep breath, his mind racing. He had never felt more alive, more connected to something bigger than himself. The very air around him seemed to hum with life, and he could feel the pulse of the planet beneath his feet. It was as if the universe was calling to him, urging him to embrace this transformation. But with this power came a deep responsibility. He had always thought of himself as just a man, ordinary, unremarkable. But now that identity was fading away, replaced by something greater. He was part of something cosmic, something eternal. Lyra stepped closer, her presence soothing yet commanding. You must learn to control this power, Alex. It will not be easy, but you have the potential to wield it. Just as I have guided you through the trials, I will help you understand your new place in this world. Together we will unlock the full extent of your power. Alex nodded, though doubt still lingered in the corners of his mind. Could he truly understand this new role? Could he wield this power without losing himself in the process? Lyra seemed to sense his uncertainty and placed a hand on his chest directly over his heart. You will not lose yourself. This power, this connection, it is a part of you, but it will not define you. It will amplify who you already are, not change you into something you are not. Her words offered him comfort, and for the first time, Alex felt a sense of peace settle within him. He was not alone in this transformation. Lyra would be with him, guiding him every step of the way. Together they walked through the palace's grand halls, and Alex felt a strange energy building within him. His senses were heightened, his mind sharper. He could hear the subtle shifts in the air, feel the vibrations of the walls beneath his feet. The connection to Xantara, to Lyra, and to the universe itself was becoming stronger with each passing second. As they reached the palace's highest tower, Lyra turned to him, her eyes full of hope. Now, Alex, you must embrace the gift that has been given to you. You are no longer just a man from Earth. You are a part of something much larger. A king, a ruler, a protector. The destiny of our worlds is intertwined now, and you must help lead us into a future where both our people thrive. Alex looked out over the vast, glowing city of Xantara, and for the first time since arriving, he saw it with new eyes. This was his home now, and the people here, Lyra's people, were now his people too. The weight of his new role settled on his shoulders, but instead of feeling heavy, it felt empowering. He was no longer the stranger in a foreign world. He was becoming a part of that world, a vital force in its future. As Lyra's words echoed in his mind, Alex felt his heart swell with determination. He had been tested, transformed, and now he was ready to fulfill the purpose that had been set before him. The wedding ritual had changed him, yes, but it had also awakened a strength and power within him that he had never known existed. The journey ahead would not be easy, but Alex was no longer afraid. He was ready. Ready to stand by Lyra's side, ready to face whatever challenges came their way, and ready to embrace the destiny that awaited him. Together, they would shape the future of both their worlds. And as the stars twinkled overhead, Alex knew that this was just the beginning. He had transformed into something greater than himself, and now he was ready to become a force for change, a force that would unite Earth and Xantara in ways the universe had never seen before.